Thanks for joining us for another edition of Blinkers Off on this Melbourne Cup Eve program. And we've got a big show lined up for you in just a moment. We'll go through all of the latest harness racing news. Big show coming up next week. I've got to start with this announcement that John Dummersney, the Chief Executive of the Harness Racing New South Wales Club, will be here live in the studio. And it's round two between John and David. So he's going to be our special guest next Monday night. In tonight's show, apart from the news, we're going up to the Darling Downs. David took a trip up there during the week to catch up with Paul Burns to find out what is the situation with Egmont Park Stud. Of course, recently announced that it is going on the market, so David will chat one-on-one with Paul Burns, one of the directors of Egmont Park Stud. Of course, Paul Burns, part of the Burns Bloodstock organisation. So that interview coming up a little bit later, and we'll have all of the highlights from Albion Park coming up on Saturday night. So it's a big show, but make sure you're tuned in for next Monday night's episode. That will be a ripper. David going one-on-one with John Dummersney live in the studio here next week. Let's start with the news. Speaking of Queenslanders heading south, John McCarthy, he will head off later this week, armed with his two star free-for-allers, Mr. Feelgood, the last starter winner of the QPC, and Washaki. They're going to be contesting the Newcastle Mile next Saturday night. Also on that truck of John McCarthy heading south, his very promising pacers, Motu Crusader, who's back after suffering a bleeding attack, and Tearaway, the recent import from New Zealand. He is also headed south, and they will eventually stay with Luke McCarthy. So that's the news on John McCarthy. Speaking of Luke McCarthy, Franco Jamal was brilliant there again on Friday afternoon. He's not going to Newcastle. He'll wait for that first round of sprint races at Menangle the following week. But just an update, XL Stride, the star 3-year-old from last season, did arrive at his Cobbitty base during the week. So XL Stride now in the care of Luke McCarthy. Lightning Raider is one horse from the Luke McCarthy stable that is going to Newcastle next Saturday night. Another Queenslander that is heading south this week is Ian Gurney, taking a team of 5 horses south. That will be confirmed, but you probably won't see them racing for a couple of weeks. Once they get down there, they'll settle in, but around Miracle Mile time or just after, you'll see them spring into action. The likes of Mac Alert, Dickie's Bromac, Jimmy Jaslong, Bailey's Magic, I should say. They're all on that truck of Ian Gurney's headed south. Now, news from the Bill Crosby stable. Western Mail, she's no fake. They're not too far away, but in front of them is Final Champion. He was the Breeders' Classic winner earlier this season for the 3-year-old colts and geldings. He's a little bit more advanced than the 2 3-year-olds now, She's No Fake and Western Mail, but by all reports, they're all doing very well, so their return is not too far away. Western Mail is going south for the Victoria Derby. News on the Kylie Rasmussen stable. It's D-Day this week. They're going to make a decision on whether or not they head to New Zealand with Forever Gold. Connections are keen to chase the Jewel Series coming up next year, but a decision will be made later this week on whether or not that Forever Gold goes to New Zealand. So it's going to be a big week for the Rasmussen Weeks stable out there at Caboolture. Our White Knight, who recently deadheaded in the Kilmore Cup, will arrive back in Brisbane this week. The next big aim for Our White Knight and his trainer Brett Cargill is going to be the Hunter Cup coming up early next year. So that's the latest there on Our White Knight. Don't forget this week that the nominations for the Redcliffe Yearling Sale close off. For further information on the Redcliffe Yearling Sale, make sure you contact Darren Ebbett. He'll give you all of the information that you need there. But nominations do close off this week. And just in closing for the news this week, interesting to hear coming out of Sydney this week that leading young drivers Cam Fitzpatrick and Jimmy Douglas were both hospitalised during the week. Jimmy Douglas in there for an operation, and Cam Fitzpatrick was taken to hospital after being knocked unconscious in a pretty nasty track work fall. They are back on their feet, and we wish them a speedy recovery. And Monkey King, news coming out of New Zealand, he'll go to the workouts on Wednesday, the Cup trial. If he doesn't fire there, that could be the end of the road for Monkey King, a 2-time New Zealand Cup champion, but his form of late has been horrible. So if he doesn't fire in this workout on Wednesday, that could be the end of the road for Monkey King. So that is the news for this Monday night. Also in the news this week, Todd McCarthy answered an SOS call from leading WA trainer Greg Bond. He made the trek over to Perth, drove at Gloucester Park on Friday night, and with good results. For further news on this story, Damien Courtney was trackside at Albion Park and spoke with young Todd McCarthy.
Well, Todd McCarthy joins us, and it's been a big weekend for you, Todd. Tell us about Western Australia last night. Yeah, that's right. I flew over on Thursday afternoon and went over for a couple of drives last night. I won one and just come a nice mid-pack on the other one. It was a good experience.
Well, tell us how that all came to be. It wasn't a junior drive. Well, it was a junior drivers race, but it wasn't an invitational race.
Yeah, it was a junior drivers race, and there wasn't that many juniors left. And Greg rang me up on Wednesday and asked if I wanted to fly over and have a drive around there. And I jumped at the opportunity. It was awesome.
Now, that's Greg Bond, who has got lots of horses in work and knows your family really well.
Yeah, we've been family friends with Greg for a while now. He's a really good bloke, and no, it's just I thank him very much for the opportunity.
First drive on the circuit over there at Gloucester Park. What did you think?
Yeah, a little 800-metre track. It was a little bit different, but no, it's a very fast run track, and it's the way they race over there is totally different to here. But I think I like it. It's fun racing,
Great experience for you. You haven't been to WA before. I know your dad's taken Washaki back there, of course, for the big races, but first time for you?
I've been over there once before, just on a little holiday, but not driving there, and but this was the first time driving around the tracks.
When did you get back to Brisbane?
This morning.
A late night. You'll sleep well tonight, mate?
I'm hoping so, yeah.
All right, Todd, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Job well done to Todd McCarthy, booting home hilarious life to win the first race at Gloucester Park last Friday night for Greg and Sky Bond. They have got a big stable and they've got plenty of strike power. Great opportunity there for young Todd to boot home a winner at Gloucester Park. His father's also a Group 1 winner at Gloucester Park, so too his big brother Luke McCarthy. Let's take our first break tonight on Blinkers Off. After the break, David Fowler will go one-on-one with Paul Burns. Welcome back to Blinkers Off on this Monday night. Well, many in the industry believe that the breeding industry here in Queensland is at crossroads. Egmont Park recently going up for sale. To follow up on this story, David Fowler ventured up the highway to Toowoomba to chat with Paul Burns, one of the directors of Burns Bloodstock and Egmont Park Stud.
Paul, thanks for your time. Before we get to the nitty-gritty of why we're here today, just some reflections on your time at Egmont Park. You've been here since 2003. I remember your family arriving. I think it was in the middle of a long drought, yet today we look around, I've never seen the place look more beautiful, as green as a billiard table.
Yeah, the place looks great, David. It's an amazing transformation, if you like. I guess the fact that we've now had floods in Toowoomba, that would have been laughed upon when we arrived as well, because we looked like we were never going to get rain there for a long time. But we've had a couple of good seasons, and we had 20 mil of rain last night, and as you said, we're as green as we could possibly be at the moment.
The 8 years you've been here, drought, EI, global financial crisis, so even before what we're about to talk about, it hasn't been plain sailing, has it?
No, there always seems to have been a hurdle just around the corner, and as you said, the drought, and then not long after that we had to survive EI, and we never got that, thankfully, and then we had to put up with a global financial crisis, and the latest one that everyone's talking about is the Hendra virus, because if you talk to people down south, everybody's got Hendra up here, but I can assure you we don't. So yeah, one of the many hurdles that's been thrown up at us since we got here.
You extended the operations from standardbred to standardbred and thoroughbreds, I think in 2007. I know presently you're standing Greenwood Lake, Byblos, Over and Dracula. Was that a commercial decision at the time?
Oh, definitely a commercial decision, David. It was a case that we could see that the standardbred industry was starting to wane, and you know, the simple commerce was that we still had mortgages to pay and feed bills and staff and the like, and it seemed to be the most logical progression into the thoroughbreds. And as you said, we've now got 4 thoroughbred stallions here, and they've picked up the slack to a very large degree. Without them, we might not have been here as long as we have been.
I know one thing that's always frustrated you from the standardbred side of things is that the lack of acknowledgement or recognition of the stallion PB Bullville. It's really astounded you, hasn't it?
It is. You know, I don't know that we could have got any other stallion from any other country or state and been sitting here spruiking about 70% winners to runners, 9 individual $100,000 horses, horses like Talk in Motion, Carter Brown, Delectable Dolly, Stagecoach Kid, Hidden Gem, Play the Line, Navajo Candy. These horses don't just win one or two nice races. These horses have made their $100,000 by winning 20 and 30 races and racing consistently and at the top for a long time. They don't race and win one or two races and then they're on their mark. I don't know of many that have broken down. They just seem to race on, and as a purchaser I can't see why they're not more popular, because surely that's what every trainer and owner wants, is a horse that can race its 20 or 30 times a season and pocket a check more times than not.
There seems to be this set against going to local stallions. Like, you've got a horse here, Sir Galvanator, great Queenslander.
Exactly. He could be the next big thing, because he comes from a family chock full of talented horses. One thing we sort of have tried to avoid here is the freak a standard bred or thoroughbred, one that, you know, none of the brothers or sisters could run, etc., etc. But here's a horse, he's a half brother to Esprit de KJ. It's won over 150,000. Bronski Gorgeous is there. I think it won 210,000. The horse himself, Sir Galvanator, he won the APG 3-year-old, he won the Caduceus, he won the Tasmanian Derby, he raced and beat the best, he won 26 races and $500,000, again in a state that supposedly has no prize money. So, you know, I don't think his service fee reflects what we expect of him.
Well, a month ago the for sale sign went on Egmont Park Stud, and I suppose the $64 question is why? Why is the family selling up?
Well, there's a few factors involved, but the straw that really broke the camel's back, and we've been trying for a couple of years to be heard on this matter, but with a lack of a breeder's bonus in Queensland, it really affects, well, I think it affects all Queensland breeders, but it affects commercial breeders the most. The fact that our only payday is when we go to a sale, and yet the people that are buying the horses off us sometimes get 20 and 30 paydays thereafter.
Well, you've fought the good fight for this breeder's bonus, but it seems to have fallen on deaf ears. Why doesn't Racing Queensland accept there should be a breeder's bonus?
You'd like to say it's not ignorance, but they, as I said, they just don't seem to get the gist of the fact that a commercial standard bred breeder can't go to a sale year in, year out, selling quality horses for $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 and actually make a living out of it. The only way that I can see breeders making a living out of breeding is by some sort of royalty, or the breeder's bonus scheme similar to that of Victoria, whereby the breeders of these winners are getting 10% of the purse of the race, which really does show the value that, say, the Victorian harness racing industry place on breeding.
I suppose the proof's in the pudding that the Victorian industry and the breed industry is flourishing. Exactly.
Like, it's not theory I'm spruiking. The fact is it's working elsewhere. We just need to adopt it or something similar. The fact that they generally race for more prize money than we have, they generally sell their yearlings for more than what we sell them for, and yet at this year's APG sale there was 103 individual vendors at the Victorian APG sale on the Sunday, not the premium sale, and up here at the equivalent sale we had just 13 individual vendors. And so the fact that they sell their yearlings for more and they race for more, and yet they still value the breeder in the industry to the extent of insisting on a 10% bonus to the breeder of each of those winners.
The critics out there will say, hang on, as the breeder, whether it's the commercial breeder, the hobby breeder, or the stud, you get your money when the horse is sold. How do you answer that question?
Well, I guess what I'm looking for, and I guess it's already in place in Victoria, but the trainer gets paid every day that he trains a horse. The driver gets paid for every drive, win, lose or draw. However, when they're associated with a winning drive or a trainer winner, they pocket an extra percentage of that prize money. Now, I basically refute the fact that they could have possibly won the race without the input of the breeder way back on day one in making the product. Just like a producer and a director get paid royalties from a movie. They don't get paid $20 million for making the movie. They make their $20 million by making a good movie that then has royalties flowing in from year to year. And, you know, 4 horses in particular, like Abbey Tiara, Elzar, Speriamo, Carter Brown, those 4 horses in Victoria, if they were Vic bred and won the same amount of dollars, would have earned the breeder of those horses 72 cheques totalling just under $90,000.
Clients, obviously, and you've got many clients here at Egmont Park. How do they feel about it?
Well, they're in the same boat. I guess the fact that they breed to race, they do get the prize money, whereas because I breed to sell, I'm very rarely there to get the prize money. But if you breed to race, yes, you pocket the prize money, but I still think that if they've bred those winners, they should be rewarded. Like we've bred horses here like Talk in Motion, Forever Gold, Sergeant Jujon, Catwalk Beauty, and the clients that have bred them and raced them, they should have got breeders' bonuses. I think I added up that a horse like Forever Gold would have earned their connections or their breeder $43,000 in bonuses.
As a commercial breeder, you see the coalface, you see the mood, and presently, what are your thoughts on the mood of people in harness racing? Is there confidence? Is there lack of confidence?
There's zero confidence, David. And it stems, you can't find a happy trainer, you can't find a happy driver, you can't find a happy owner. But a lot of it, a lot of the headlines stem to, you know, should we be racing at Deagon? What about the prize money? I'm here to tell you that it all starts with the man who makes the product, and that's the breeder. And the breeding industry is continuing its downward spiral, and it's gathering momentum. I've got clients here that just don't want to breed because, oh, well, if we're racing at Deagon, do I want to go? Will Redcliffe still be around? All of these things. And it's a cancer that's eating the sport. There's that many negatives coming from that many different angles that you can't find a positive thing to talk about in the industry.
Egmont Park has been the leading nursery for standardbreds for 30 years. Is the for sale signs up? Is it too late? Can you turn back?
It could be fixed with the stroke of a pen, but I know it won't be. If that breeder's bonus came in, as I said, those 4 horses have cost us something near $90,000. And Burns Bloodstock have produced 80 individual winners. Well, if I added up the other 76, I don't know how much money the lack of a breeder's bonus has cost us, but I can tell you that whatever it's cost us is virtually the reason that we can't continue on. We can't continue to go and sell Elzar for $4,000, Carter Brown for $9,000, and then watch these horses win $200,000, $300,000. The best 18 horses we've sold have won $1.8 million between them. You could have bought all 18 at the sale for $154,000.
Well, as I said, I've been coming here many times over 30 years, and I hope to be able to come back to Egmont Park. It's disappointing that the for sale sign's up. I tell you one thing, I won't miss the flies.
No, that's probably true. We shipped them in specially for you. I thought they all came out of your car when you pulled up, David.
Thanks for your time.
No problems.
Interesting times, that's for sure there with Egmont Park Stud. We'll continue to follow that story. Let's take another break. We'll be back with more in just a moment. Welcome back to Blinkers Off. It was another good night of racing at Albion Park on Saturday night. Let's go to the action of the first race. LeBron is a horse in form. Here's the replay.
LeBron starting to sneak away from Jet High. He almost came down. He went very roughly. Wiped out there Vinnie Boy. North Royal also severely checked, and that's left LeBron a mile in front. He straightens with a great lead, LeBron. Going to second, Dead or Alive. Next in the field was Albert's Charm. Elzar down the outside, but it's all LeBron, and LeBron is going to do it again. LeBron bolted in. LeBron by 15 metres. Albert's Charm second. Very tight, the minors. Next was either Our Crusher or Elzar.
Brian McCall joins us, and the trainer of LeBron, who's really flying at the moment. Another big win tonight, Brian. Firstly, congratulations, and gee, hasn't he turned the corner recently?
Thanks, Damien. Yeah, he has. He's made a big change in his racing pattern. He's got gate speed, which has helped him a lot. Usually usually couldn't get out before. He used to get on his knee a little bit and get rough, but he's sort of clearing himself well now and getting out fast, and that's helped.
Mate, is there anything that's happened the last month or so that you could lay the finger on as for the change of gear or training program at all?
Not really. I think he's just finally matured into a horse. I've had him since he was 2, and I've given him a lot of time. I always thought he was going to be really good, and every time I brought him back, he got better and better. But he's just taken forever to get here. He's now 6, and in the last few months, he's racing really well. He's just got the confidence, and he just wants to run. So it's helped him.
He's got natural gate speed, but last week and tonight, the last quarters, when Dean Belfort said go, he's put a huge gap in them.
Yeah, he has. He's bred to be very good, and I really can't explain why he's got better, but I think he's just matured, and he is. He's racing so confident. He just wants to run, and he just keeps running on the front end now. So.
Now, he's owned by your partner, Rachel Beaton, and I'm sure she's thrilled with the way he's going. You've had this horse for most of his career?
Yeah, I got him originally as 2. Sammy DeFrancisco bought him as a yearling, and he paid good money. He's probably the best family in Australia. He's had a full pleasure. His sister won $450,000 or something. So, and he was just too immature. He was hitting his knee really bad, and I spelled him. He was very skinny, big gangly horse, and we gave him 5 months off and gelded him, and he come back all right. And he ran a heap of placings as a 3-year-old, and then we put him out again, and he won sort of 3 as a 4-year-old, and come back again, and I thought he'd be right as a 5-year-old, but he only won 3 or 4, and I've got to say a couple of times I didn't think he was going to improve, but he sort of just kept doing it, but he took a big step in the last few months, and he's just finally racing good. So
you only got a small team in work, and you've moved recently. You're out Gatton Way, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. Churchill's a place, but we've got a lovely big track, 1,100 metre track. It's got a nice hill in it, and I think that's one of the reasons behind him improving. He's massive. He's 530 kilos now, and he probably used to be about 480 as a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old, and I think finally he's put on all this weight and he's built it up into muscle galloping up the hill, and he's really improved on that, so that's helping.
All right, mate, for the time being, I suppose, we'll just keep winning races at Albion Park if you can.
Yeah, why not? We'll miss him next week. He doesn't like to race too much together, and he's had sort of 3 hard runs in a row, so we'll miss next week. Plus Dean's away, we can't take him off. He's doing too good a job, so and we'll come back in a couple of weeks and see what we can do.
Mate, well done. He's flying, and congratulations on a great training effort.
Excellent, thank you.
Brian McCall, the trainer of LeBron, and he is low-flying presently. Let's go to the action of race number 4. This was a good betting race, and here's the action.
Whittaker yet to call on the favourite. He's sitting against him. Maywin Jasper leading 3 metres. Vinny's Adventure. He's under pressure. 3 wide, Mighty Memories. McMillan about to go back to the inside and down the outside. Forte Denario. Maywin Jasper leads the way. Mighty Memories. Forte Denario. They're flashing late on the outside. They go to the favourite. Mighty Memories. Mighty Memories able to hold off Forte Denario. McMillan, Maywin Jasper.
Well, Garth, happy owner tonight, made Mighty Memories. That was a good win.
Yeah, it was a good win. He's an old timer. We got him from New Zealand probably 6 or 8 months ago. A friend of mine, Rob's, come over from New Zealand and went over and purchased a few over there. He's one of the old timers that we claimed out of the claimers there. He's doing a super job here, and he won well tonight.
He's been going very well for Pete McMullen. You've had a great run this week. Now, tell us a little bit about, firstly, yourself and your background in the game, and then we'll talk about the run you've had this week.
Mate, yeah, look, I've been in earth moving all my life, and since I kicked off, and then we got into the horses probably 5 or 6 years ago, and we've had a pretty good run since, and we've just upgraded in the last 12 months and purchased up to about 14 horses from New Zealand, which has seemed to be doing a super job at the moment. And we've had a couple of trotters in the last few weeks have been going good. They've been based here already before we purchased them. Montrose Kid Tuesday, Tina Turner, she won on Thursday. She was from Darren Hancock in Sydney. Onwards Christian, he was another New Zealander. He was actually purchased where we purchased Mighty Memories from. So, look, they're doing a super job.
So what's that, about 4 winners in the last 8 or 9 days?
Yeah, we've had 4 winners. Onwards Christian's, he won 2 in a row. He was a bit unlucky last night, done a bit of work early. And then, yeah, obviously the 2 trotters through the week, Mighty Memories tonight.
You've got horses down south as well?
Yeah, we've got 5 horses down south with Luke, just yet to sort of kick him off with Luke, and we've had a couple of good winners down there. We've had Mahi Monarch down there, Commander-in-Chief. Rennie Savage, she's gone down there, running really well, good time, so yeah.
Well, the harness racing industry certainly needs owners like yourself and Rob Gorman, who's your part owner here, and you've built up a very good team, and it's great to see success coming your way.
Yeah, look, it's good to see. We've put a bit of money into the sport, so hopefully we can get a bit out.
All right, mate. Well, Peter McMullen has got the horses flying up here in Queensland for you, and let's hope there's many more winners in the weeks to come. Well done.
Yeah, no, thanks very much.
Garth Ritchie, one of the part owners there of Mighty Memories, and great results during the week. Several winners, so keep up the good work, Garth, and all of the people involved with his horses. Let's go to race number 6 from Saturday night at Albion Park. This was the fast class race, and here's the replay.
Jack Lemon perfectly rated in the lead, and he shows the way by a long neck. Destrayos on the outside is second. A Riverboat Star first up, sitting third. Atomic Arc 1 by 1. He's ready to go. Artifact to the inside, then Funny Boy. Be Good Johnny. He's got his work cut out. Be Good Johnny. He's still back second last by the 3/4. And at the tail, Extreme Stature, back straight quarter, only 29.3. Jack Lemon has it narrowly. Destrayos drawing level on the outside. Riverboat Star, he's aiming up for that inside run. Then Atomic Arc. Be Good Johnny is starting to put in the big strides, but he's still a long way off them. He can't get them. Going clear, Destrayos. Riverboat Star back to the inside. Then Atomic Arc, but Destrayos cuts a big mile. Sat Park beat Riverboat Star, Atomic Arc, and out wider was Funny Boy.
Well, Charlie Sini and Christina Monty are doing a wonderful job for owner Sally Stengel with these horses, and tonight Destrayos and Funny Boy both raced well tonight. Charlie, they're nice horses to have in the stable?
Yeah, they've gone to the top of the tree. They're just two nice horses, you know. Destrayos, he's just a good racehorse. He can lead, he can sit in the death, he can come from the back. Same as Funny Boy, they're just two good horses.
Well, Kelly drove Destrayos, and she's the regular driver for this horse, and he's won 5 this season here and has a wonderful record at Albion Park.
He's just a great old horse. I think he's getting better.
32 wins on this circuit now. It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they just don't do it, Damien, you know. You're lucky to win 2 races and you're happy, but when they just keep winning in the free-for-all, it's just terrific to have them there every morning looking at you when you go to feed them.
Well, it's great to see horses like Washaki and Mr. Feelgood in Queensland, Charlie. I suppose you're waving them goodbye at the moment, are you? Because it makes it a bit easier with these horses.
Well, it does, as long as the races stand up, you know. They've got to chase the big money. Destrayos and Funny Boy, they're sort of not up to that grade, and they've just got to try and, you know, pay their way here.
Sally Stengel owns both horses, and they've been wonderful horses for her. They've taken them down south. They've acquitted themselves very well over the border, and, you know, they've got through to open company. They just continue to race well.
Yeah, we're very lucky that Sally entrusted us with the horses, and they'll fit well when we got them, and hopefully we can keep them going.
That's the plan, just to keep racing them and keep winning.
Yeah, I think so, Damien. They're both sound, touch wood, and they both go home the next morning and they eat all their feed, and they're just 2 pleasure horses to have.
Charlie, really quickly, you and Christina, how many do you have in work?
We've got too many. We've got 17.
The run's been good, but?
Oh, yeah, they're going nice. I've got another nice horse, Alpino. He's doing a good job. Just a lot of young ones, you know, so it's a lot of work.
All right, well, the fruit of the pickings in the eating, and you've been able to savour success tonight with these 2 horses. Well done, mate.
Thanks a lot. They're ready to go, so it's a big help. Thank you.
There's Charlie Sini talking with Damien Courtney, and we appreciate Damien's work once again there on Saturday night from Albion Park. So that were the highlights from the Creek on Saturday night. Back there again next Saturday night. That just about takes us out for this Monday night on Blinkers Off. Another reminder that next Monday night, live here in the studio, flying up from Sydney, John Dummersey, and he will go one-on-one with David Fowler. Of course, just recently on radio, it got fairly heated, so they're live in the studio here next Monday night, and that's going to be all important. They'll be talking about the Inter-Dominion, the future, their plans, Harness Racing New South Wales and the New South Wales Harness Racing Club, as well as the Miracle Mile. So that's all coming up next Monday night. Until then, good night for now.